Hi everybody, Jody here from JI Colorist. Today, just doing a quick face-to-face intro of the video, and then we'll change the camera to the downward angle on the desk. Today's video is the hashtag Colourists First. I first saw this hashtag on Disney Meg's channel, YouTube channel, and I will link her video in the description below. There are 10 questions all about the first that each colorist has, and these are my answers. So until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you later. And now I'll change the camera to the desk view. Okay, the first question is, what was your first coloring book you started when you started adult coloring? And my first book was from a local Alberta artist, Crystal Salomon, and it was the book Awakening. And then shortly after I got that, I got her second book, which is Crystal Salomon's Ignite Artful Coloring. And I started coloring in 2016, and so this is some of my earliest coloring. Looks like I was using like Crayola type pencils at this time, and still white tooth showing through on the paper, so very different from the kind of coloring I do today. But it was my start, and that was fun to start. Second question is, what was your first coloring supply? And I had, like probably most people, I had a variety of colored pencils from a long time ago when we were in school, and I actually started with Laurentians. So an old barrel, very thins, and a variety of old Prismacolors. So just a variety of pencils that we had collected over the years and had in a pencil box. So that was my first pencils. My first non-budget pencils, or budget friendly colored pencil set, was the Prismacolor. I bought this with a coupon at Michael's, like most of us, and I bought the 132 set. It came with I think there was 4 trays of pencils, and it was my first expensive kind of splurge into the colored pencil area. And the next question is, what was my first hardback book? And actually this just happened earlier this year. So I started in 2016, but this is my first hardback book, and it's Rory Dobner's The Ink House. So it's actually not a coloring book, it's actually a book, but a lot of colorists have taken it on as a coloring book, and we've colored. So The Ink House by Rory Dobner is my first hardback book. The next question was, who was your first buddy color with? I would expect my first buddy color was with an Instagram follower, Cindy Visor. She's from Canada, and also probably Megan from Disney Meg's Coloring. So I have buddy colored with both of those ladies quite often, and it's been great. The first color tube channel you watched would have been Rachel from Pencil Stash. I loved her voice. I loved how she talked you through her process. She was very helpful. And also Coloring Bliss, Jennifer Stay's channel on YouTube. I used her a lot as well. Number 7, what was your first page you colored in? The first page you colored in adult coloring? Well, that would have been back in the books that I showed you. So looking back through my books, I did used to date, and I quite date them quite often. But May 2016 is the first or the oldest page that I can find in here. So I would say that this is probably my first adult coloring page completed that I showed you earlier. Question number 8 was, what was your first portrait colored page? That was also this year. I don't recall doing portraits in the past. I can't think of any that come to mind. But this is a Coloring Haven Timeless Beauties. I bought this a couple of years ago, or when it kind of first came out, and I never colored in it until just this year, in May 2022. So this is my first portrait one that I recall, followed up right away with the next two. So this girl, and I really liked how she came out. Yeah, so I did it with Cretacolor and Lyra Skin Tone and Polychromos. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Number 9, what was your first grayscale colored page? I must admit, I've never done a grayscale, so I'm gonna have to say nothing. And number 10, what is the first completed coloring book? And you would think that it would have been one of these two. And I have indeed finished these, but these were actually not my first completed book. My first completed book was, and I'll remove the cover, was Joanna Basford's Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And this book took me a year to complete. I did it from start to finish, keeping colors consistent for Ivy all throughout. And I really kind of did it one page at a time. And I do have a complete flip through of all my completed coloring books. I've completed 6 coloring books fully, and I have flip throughs through all of them. But Ivy and the Inky Butterfly was the very first one I did. I started it in 2018 at the beginning, and I finished it at the end of that year. So pretty excited, and I'm pretty proud of this book. There's lots of learning and lots of creative things that I did in this book. So if you haven't seen that video, it's one of my popular videos on the channel. The other book that I then completed, which has also got quite a few views, is Romantic Country book 1. So this book is also, there's a flip through on the channel. I have an actual playlist of all my completed books, so there's 6 in that playlist right now. I'm currently working on Romantic Country number 2, but number 1 is there for you to take a look at. And again, in number 1 you'll see, and I guess Inky and the Ivy too, the kind of the progression of my coloring style from the early pages until the completed one. So pretty happy when I complete a book. So a couple of the other books I've finished, in case you're looking, is so Volume 1, Inspirational Bliss, and Mandala Bliss Volume 3. And these were from Coloring Bliss, so off of the Coloring Bliss website, Jennifer Stays. So from her channel, I was inspired to purchase a couple of her books, one in watercolor paper and one in their mixed media paper. So those are the books, and those are the 10 questions. So I'm happy to share with you some of my firsts, and I just like to say thank you, Disney Megs, for the fun tag, and I look forward to seeing everyone in my next video. Until then, be creative and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.